Hey there folks, welcome back to another video. Now this is a similar instance to a couple of other videos that I made where I'm not really too sure where I'm going to put this clip or how I'm going to do this video just yet. I've started to like the idea of showing you guys the big finished product at the very beginning. So, I don't know, we'll kind of see how this goes. I have a big video that I'm working on that has a bunch of my Daredevil customs. It's going to be a big compilation video of me showing you guys some of the stages of those customs because I don't have the full things recorded. This is a figure that will be a part of that. But I've decided to do some things that are different. And I think, even though I've done a lot of work to this figure, technically speaking, we're not really at a point where I feel like we're too far gone. A lot of the work that I did to it was painting a head that I'm not using anymore and a neck that I'm not using anymore. And I'm not even using this shirt anymore. And the shirt caused the problem. And one of the cooler things that I did, like the gloves already, I didn't really show. I didn't make it a part of the recording. So I feel like we're still at a decent spot where we can kind of start from scratch, technically speaking. And I'll explain how we did the ropes on the hands. It's not really that hard, but the biggest thing that I wanted to accomplish was making them removable. And the reason for that is because he has two different looks from Season 3 that I wanted to replicate. And I don't have any good hands to show for right now. But before he puts the ropes on, I think it's before episode 9, he's wearing the ropes. And he just is wearing black, kind of, it looks like hand wraps. I'm not entirely sure. He's in the church. I don't know why he would have hand wraps unless they were just given to him because he started boxing. I don't know. I feel like he found them before that. I don't really remember for sure, but he looks like he's wearing hand wraps because they're like Velcroed down and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to be able to replicate that look as well. So that's why I made the hand wraps or the Muay Thai ropes removable. So you can see that right there. The other thing is this is made off of the base of the Mezco Death Brigade figure. So this is basically what he comes like, you know, but I've done a lot of work to stretch out the pants to make them look a little bit more natural. He's kind of wearing what looks to be like kind of Dickies work pants. They're just very plain pants. They shouldn't even have these pockets on here, and I've considered taking them off, but I don't know if the stitching is going to be really noticeable afterward, the stitching holes, so I've opted to leave those alone. And this was the shirt that he came with, but I had a collar, and it looks okay, but the problem is when I put the neck on there that I'm going to use, it looks like his neck is just coming out of his shirt, like directly. It doesn't look natural, as you guys can see. So I've opted against using this. And this is the head sculpt that I'm going to be using, even though this head sculpt is based off of Season 1. We're going to sand down these details, and we're going to make the mask ourselves. So, yeah. But he's got the accurate Bates boots because the Mezco has an accurate sculpt. And, yeah, so we already have a new shirt. This one has a separate collar. This one is a shirt that I got off of GPS lot. And I'm going to replace that, and I'm going to give this shirt to a future Punisher custom just because for that I'm not going to need the collar. Okay, so this is what is underneath the shirt. As you can see here, I have done some stuff to make the body fill out slightly, just to make the arms look a little bit more beefy when he's wearing the shirt. The shirt was a little bit tight. I don't think I'm going to need this as much now. We'll see how the shirt fits, but it's a little bit of electrical tape to kind of just make a smoother transition. It doesn't look like much, but you can see there's a thinner piece in there. And it's just to smooth out the transition here. And he's got some on his biceps and his triceps and his shoulders and stuff like that. I do still have the rotation on the bicep, but it's, you know, it's just electrical tape. I think this was probably not supposed to be permanent when I originally did it. I started to work on this figure probably about a year ago. So yeah, also similar to with my 1/6 Daredevil, Charlie has somewhat of a long torso, so to replicate that, I have the pants sitting lower than they should technically be, and also that helps the pants look a little bit baggier. And from the front, it looks decent, but on the back, he can kind of look like he's sagging. So we're going to do what I did with the 1/6 scale figure, and we're going to glue the pants down in a certain way. That way they don't fall too low, because this right here is fine. And since I've had these pants kind of stretched out for a while now, they look a lot better than they did. And I'll show a comparison. You guys can see what they look like. One, I don't know what video this is going to be in. It could be in his video. I don't know, or the video that he's going to be a part of, the kind of compilation video that I talked about before. But I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea of what this guy looks stock, and we'll take his oh my goodness, we'll take his accessories off so you guys can get a better idea. But this figure, this is my season 3 Daredevil. This is a custom. And I thought it'd be cool to kind of show you guys what this would look like stock. So as you can see, the shirt, the body is filled out a little bit more. It's the same body. Body is filled out a little bit more. The pants have been stretched out a little bit to make them look a little bit more like traditional cargo pants. I'm going to go ahead and pause this real quick so you guys can see what this looks like without the stuff on it. Alrighty, here he is. And I did put a little bit of a smaller head on there so you can kind of see him a little bit closer and scale. I mean, this thing is huge, so it's kind of funny that they both happen to be yelling faces. His head's not sitting on there, so it's a little bit high, but you can see that there's a real difference between the frames here. I mean, this definitely looks like a slender kind of skeleton build. So we have a lot of steps done technically, but there's like no paintwork involved. And again, I'll show you guys how I made these. Quick little interjection here. I meant to say I was going to explain how I did it. I used a little thin piece of plastic, similar to what you'd get with a plastic baggie, and I shaped that to the forearm, glued it around loose enough so it could slide on and off, then covered it with electrical tape, and then glued the string around it, leaving black gaps to be show or screen accurate. I made these. But the one thing we are going to need is a red collar, and I don't really have any interest in buying a red shirt just to put underneath this to make it a little bit more accurate. And I did want to I was thinking about going that route. That way I could have him displayed as the look without the red shirt, because he doesn't really wear the red shirt until the very end of the season. But I think that's also kind of stupid. So if I want to replicate the look without the Muay Thai ropes, you know, he's going to have the red shirt under there. So it's not going to be perfectly accurate. But yeah, we'll figure that out. So let's go ahead and throw the other shirt on and see what it looks like. I am very happy with how this looks. This Thor Ragnarok neck happens to fit in this head very nicely, and the proportions look good without any modifications. So, and I would probably most likely leave this as a single joint. So, you know, you can still get it to look up. It's obviously at an angle, but just using that bottom one is going to make it look a little bit more seamless. And no real modification other than the fact that just making that head or that neck kind of work in there a little bit better. The only problem that I have is I think this sweater, or this long sleeve or whatever, is just a little bit too baggy. This one was starting to look good. It was a little bit tight for season 1 or season 3 maybe. I don't know, but this one's a little bit big. But I guess it's not a huge deal, because once I finally have my definitive season 1 version done, I'd want there to be a little bit more of a kind of a contrast between the two, since this one is supposed to be regular street clothes and that one he's wearing a compression shirt. So, you know, I guess it's okay. I just would have preferred the arms to be a little bit tighter. And, you know, once we put the sleeves on, or the ropes on, we can probably hug this down just a little bit, but it's still not hugging the arms the way that I want to. But also, if it hugs the arms too much, then you can kind of see that line there. So it's not too bad. I think what we should do first is fix the pants. There's some fraying, my goodness, some fraying at the bottom here that needs to be fixed. And we got to glue the pants in place. And there's no real modification that needs to be done to the shirt. You know, this body looks pretty good. So we're just going to kind of do that. And then I'm going to figure out how I want to do the collar. Like if I want it to be, because there's a possibility that I can have it be something that sits in there and it's removable. You know, maybe if I were to be, you know, super extreme, maybe I could have it just connected to the neck. And then if I wanted him to look how he does without the red collar, then maybe I swap out the neck, and the neck is what has the red collar on it. I don't know. Maybe biting off a little bit more than we can chew. I'm not sure. But there's some ideas. But let's go ahead and get done what we know we can do right away, and then start brainstorming. So, yeah. Alrighty, so this is where we are at right now. And I must say, this guy is really coming along. I'm very excited because when I initially started this figure, there was a couple of things that were inaccurate. And I basically settled on the idea of doing a mixture between his Season 1 and Season 3 look. But now I'm able to do a definitive Season 3. And not only have it be accurate to Season 3, but also have it be accurate to his differing looks in Season 3, you know, without the Muay Thai ropes and or without the red collar like we had talked about. So obviously we are not done with the head. We have to paint this whole thing, but before that we have to figure out how to make a mask. So that is going to be a little bit of a longer step in the video. But as far as the actual body goes, I'm very happy. I wish the arms on the sleeves were just a little bit tighter, just a little bit, but I've already complained about that. And I'm going to do a little bit more gray to the pants, and I'm not doing that. I'm going to do that here in a second before I add this on. This is my little belt here. This is a strap from the Mezco Death Brigade figure. I was considering using one of these belts. I have 2 more of these. And in order to do all the Punisher customs that I have in mind, I only need 1 of them. But you can like barely see the belt. You can only see the belt buckle at times. And this isn't even the right belt buckle. So I decided against it. In the show, he's wearing just like a regular leather belt. So I figured this is something that was gonna keep a low profile. It's not gonna, like, if I were to use this, I'd have to do a bunch of sanding and stuff to make it sit up against the pants nicely. So I'm gonna use this, just some of the straps from the backpacks that the figure comes with, and it's nice and low profile. Obviously, it doesn't look like a traditional leather belt, but you really only see the belt. You're really only supposed to see the belt buckle at certain times, and also covers up that glue mark on the pants. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna glue that on, and then I'm gonna add a little bit more gray to the pants because it's not quite as light as I want it to be, and then maybe do some paint work to the gloves or the wraps, and then as far as the other hand goes, I haven't decided yet, but the other hands that are supposed to just be kind of like fingerless gloves, or at least resemble that look, I may be using my SH Figuarts Deadshot hands. I'm going to have to repaint those completely, but they already have this sculpted in fingerless glove. I don't really have anything else that I could use. The only other thing I could think of is my Mezco homemade suit Spider-Man hands. Those are sculpted fingerless gloves, but I don't want to ruin those just for this. So yeah, if I come up with anything, then I'll bring it in, but it's just a pair of fingerless black gloves. This is kind of more of the interesting part. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're basically gonna be finishing them up. Alrighty, folks, here is the final product. I want to quickly say there's a couple of fine-tuning things that I need to do, but I wanted to get this video out before the new season premieres of Daredevil Born Again. Unfortunately, I've been a little bit busy. I've been moving all of my stuff back up to the garage because it's finally starting to get warm. So I've been a bit busy the last couple of days. I have a bunch of videos that are going to be coming out soon, and then we have some new stuff that I need to work on. But I planned on having a couple of these customs done before Born Again started, but unfortunately that's just not the way that it worked. So they're going to be coming out throughout the release of Born Again Season 2, which was part of the plan, but I wanted some to come out before. So there's some tweaking that, there's some tweaking that I need to do. Maybe get a little pointer finger here. The black wrist tape here needs to be touched up a little bit. And there's some touching up that needs to be done to the head. The teeth are not quite right yet. And the mask is still not fully painted, which I don't know how it's not, because that's got multiple layers. But I'm also going to be doing another head. And I'm sure you can probably guess why. It's because, you know, I didn't really think about this, but I like having my figures kind of standing straight up and down. And you can see that this kind of expression is a little bit odd if you're just having him stand straight up and down. It's not very neutral. So I will be doing another head sculpt, and I think the idea that I came up with, I think somebody else on the interwebs has done it. I'm not exactly sure if this is what he's done, but at least looking at his custom, I got the idea to do this. So I guess we'll find out. I might message him and ask him if that's how he did it, but we'll go over that in another video. So there's going to be kind of a part 2 of me doing another head sculpt, and in that video, all the finer details will be touched up. I'm going to add a little bit more gray to the pants. It does have a nice color contrast on camera, but I have or in person rather, but I have the contrast kind of low, so it's hard to see the color difference. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure with the other wrist tape, or the Muay Thai ropes, and the collar. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at that. Also, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a look at this before I put it back on there, because unfortunately I didn't record a part for this, but you can see the kind of end right there. It's glued inside with the little piece of plastic. It's very thin plastic, like if you were to buy an action figure, more of an import style figure, and has the plastic on top, the little thin layer of plastic to keep it safe. Those little sheets and stuff like that, that's what this is. Sorry about the painted hands, but yeah, so you can kind of see that right there. It's cut up with some electrical tape around it, and then some dirty string. So yeah, there's that. There's the other look with the Muay Thai ropes and stuff, and you can see the red collar poking through. It's a little harder to see with the head pointed down, which again, that's another kind of fault with this head sculpt, because you either want him like leaning back and looking up, or looking down like in the episode, so you kind of hide the collar from yourself. You got the belt buckle hanging out. The shirt sits probably a little bit too high. I didn't want the full belt buckle exposed, because he doesn't really have that look going on. There's only really one image that I can think of where the whole belt buckle is exposed, but these are just kind of like nitpick details. But yeah, this isn't going to be the final showcase. This is just the process on how to make it. So with the next video, hopefully I have some of those finer details kind of added on. And I'm not trying to rush these things, but you know, there's, I'm trying to make my own deadlines and stuff to have the videos come out. And since it's not the showcase, it's a few things that need some touch-ups, and I want to give him another head, because like I said, I didn't really think this through. I'm not going to really like it on the shelf just like this. He could be in more dynamic pose, but I want the option of having a more neutral pose. So yeah, the head sculpt isn't perfect. Like I said, the teeth are a little bit messed up. And oh, here's the tails. I didn't really show that before, but I kind of just took some long strips of the medical tape. I folded it over on itself so there's no sticky side exposed, and I just glued it to the back of the head, and I did it in a way so it looks like the ties are interlocked. So I had 2 different pieces, and I painted one on each black so they're interlaced, if that makes any sense. And also they're different lengths. That helps make it look a little bit better. But yeah, again, another thing I want to go over is when I was doing the sanding for this head sculpt, I took a little bit too much off of the dome. So he looks a little bit odd from this perspective. That's another reason why I don't really like this head sculpt now. So that needs to be adjusted. And I didn't really want to fix it because I've already attempted this mask on this head I think this is the 4th attempt. So, yeah. I got a little perma-blood on the hands right there. Also, I need to do a pair of fists with this look. That's another thing I need to do. So there's a few steps that remain, but, you know, this video is overall just kind of showing you guys how to make it. There will be another video with a more complete figure, and we'll do a video on how to do the other head sculpt. Maybe I'll do it into a short because it doesn't need much explaining. Just kind of bringing the idea to light, and then maybe the final showcase. I don't know, but that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show you guys the full figure. I'm really excited for the new season dropping tonight. This video will be up before the episode comes out, so stay tuned for that. And that's pretty much it, folks. If you guys liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell. All that would be greatly appreciated if you decide to do so. And of course, until next time, true believers.